Welcome to the Tristan Law Show. If it's your first time here, welcome. And if you've been here before, welcome back. I'm Tristan Law. Today, we've got a guest, a guy who's been dominating the ring with unpredictable moves and the freshest style you've ever seen. He's not just any athlete, he's the Freshlete. And you know what? You never know what he's going to bring to the ring. Whether it's aerial, technical, or straight up striking, he's got it all. Tomorrow night, he is getting into the ring with a legend, Johnny Cashmere, at the ISPW show in Northfield, New Jersey. But today, he's stepping into the ring with me. Get ready to meet the current Pro Wrestling Magic Junior Heavyweight Champ and the ECPW Heavyweight Champ, Trey Felipe. We are talking about his journey, his mindset, and what is coming next from this rising star. Trey, what's going on, man? Thanks for joining me.
Had to get my energy up. What's up, Tristan? How's it been? How's life? How's life? Life,
as they say, life be life in some time. But I'm glad that you're able to join me here on this Tuesday afternoon for this live episode of the Tristan Law Show. I know you, but I don't know you like that. When I took my hiatus,
you never know, and you never will.
That's right. I took my hiatus a couple years ago, and then I came back to wrestling. And you were one of the first people that I wrestled. So, I was always grateful for you for, helping out the old man in the ring. I guess I'm the old man. You help the old man out in the ring. I appreciate you. I got much love for you. And all I want for you is for your career to become real good and for you to make that money that you're supposed to make.
Don't we all? And, of course, man. I mean, you were one of my first, I think, year or two. And it was a lot of fun. You were probably one of the first people that, I heard of you, but didn't fully meet yet until the day of the show. So it was kind of nerve-wracking because it was like everyone else I had wrestled with at that point, I had already trained with or something. So, you took care of me. We had a banger, as the kids say.
That's right.
And then a couple years later, we did it again. And I'm grateful for you too, man. You taught me a lot.
Well, thank you very much. Let's jump right into this real quick. I want to know about what it was like for you growing up playing baseball and how that experience shaped your athleticism into who you are today, into you being the Freshlete.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, as you know or may not know, I'm Dominican, so baseball is. You come out of the womb with a baseball and a bat. So I played that since I could take my first steps, all the way until my junior year. But throughout that time, it just gave me a sense of routine. Working out, you go to school, then you go to practice and you got to work out. You do your morning routine, and it gave me a sense of what it really goes to be dedicated to something and motivated and just when it transitions to the ring is now we know Freshlete. One of the sports that I did that made me the fresh athlete is baseball. And, I come out with my jerseys and all that, but it was a very big part of my life. My footwork has a lot to do with baseball and just my agility as a whole. I transitioned into doing other sports, but yeah, biggest part was definitely baseball because I played that literally until I was, I think, 17, 18.
A lot of people don't understand how important your footwork is in the ring. You need to be able to step properly. You can't step in the ring like there's boards in the ring, and when you step in the ring, it goes thud, 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 thud. You need to be able to step and manage yourself so that you don't do things like twist your ankle, and it makes you a little bit more limber, and you could spring and stuff like that. What people don't understand is that one of the first things I learned when I went to pro wrestling school was how to get in the ring and how to walk in the ring. How stupid it sounds, that's one of the things that I learned.
Well, yeah, when you get in the ring, as soon as when you're running, we call it that cross thing. So you're only running from one path to the other, from one rope to rope, or the X, which is corner to corner. And that's just a lot very similar to baseball because you're going from home base to one base, and you have to be able to turn quickly without hurting yourself. And be able to react quickly. When a ball gets hit, you're reacting, and then that's what wrestling is. A lot of reacting, not things don't always go as planned, and you got to be able to move on a dime.
I get that. So you played baseball all your life, and then when you went to high school, you transitioned into amateur wrestling and football during your senior year of high school. Talk to me about the transition from baseball into wrestling and in football.
Yes, I mean, so baseball was I loved baseball and I liked playing it and it was a big part of my life. But at one point, I got burnt out of it. I mean, I was doing a lot of camps. I was doing a lot of you know high school sports and all that kind of stuff. And like it just felt like I felt the pressure of, like for once on something, and it made me realize that I loved it, but I didn't have a passion for it. So I kind of gave that up my junior year. But at the same time, I was still an athlete at heart. I still couldn't just not do anything. So my senior year, all your friends are about to leave, and you don't know when you're here to see them again and stuff. So we were like, let's just go out with a bang. Let's start playing football, and let's do amateur wrestling. And that's what I did. I just joined it so I can start hanging out with my friends. So I did football my senior year, and then I made it to I was able to start. Then I was able to go to the state game. Then I was able to do. I made it to the second team all conference. And then also the county game. So I did pretty well from only doing it in 1 year. And transitioning from there, the next season was amateur wrestling. So amateur wrestling, the wrestling coach was like, you did so well on this one. Why don't you give it a try on this one? And I had done amateur wrestling one time in like the 6th grade, and it just wasn't for me. So I was like, all right, fine, I'll give it one more try as an adult. It was hard work. I mean, it definitely helped me with my cardio. It helped me lose a lot of weight from football into becoming a little more agile and all that stuff. But that also wasn't for me. So I did it, but it was more to just hang out with my friends. And then I ended up going to college for football. So I had a choice between those two, and I decided to go to William Patterson for football. So I ended up working out. But I pick up sports pretty easily. Is what I'm trying to say.
So we're going to talk about your football, career in high school in just a little bit. But tell everybody that's watching, because I didn't get the chance to play to be an amateur wrestler in high school. They didn't have it in one of the high schools that I went to. So how does amateur wrestling prepare you for pro wrestling? Talk about the differences, how it prepares you, and all the different, and talk about some of the similarities as well.
Well, a lot of the moves that people use in wrestling, or actually that I use in wrestling, a lot of them come from amateur wrestling. Single legs, double legs, there's a whole bunch of different things, cradles, that goes into wrestling. And then one of the biggest things I think I learned from that transition from amateur wrestling into wrestling was cardio, because the amateur wrestling cardio is ridiculous. And I, especially after doing sports all my whole life, I got humbled quick. Being gassed in these minute rounds and all that kind of stuff. It was just I can't even explain it. All the running, all the sprinting, all this and then it was just practices were continuous movement throughout the entire thing, no breaks, nothing. And then since I was this is gonna sound weird coming from a junior heavyweight champion, I actually wrestled heavyweight. So I was just at the cusp of being a heavyweight or below that. I was at 220, and the heavyweights I think were 225. So I actually did that. So I was also wrestling people that were bigger than me, which also transitions into pro wrestling, because for the most part I'm a pretty average sized guy. When it comes to bigger people, you're bigger than me. Donatello's bigger than me. Lou Bruno's bigger than me. Kerr, Steve Penn. There's a lot of people that are in wrestling that are bigger than me, and I had to deal with that, because it was from 220, 225 to 280 or something like that. So these people were huge. So I was just hoping to God that I would just catch them slip and flip them over. But I had the most pins on the team, so as soon as you get someone on their back, we're all the same size.
That's right. So you're a lifelong baseball player, you're an amateur wrestler, and now you're playing football your senior year in high school. You went on to William Patterson University, to where you're playing football at the collegiate level. Now talk about how all of this transformed into pro wrestling. Talk about the training that you had to get into to be able to be a decent pro wrestler that you took from all those sports that you played before.
Well, like I said, I picked up a lot of sports very easily. So when I transitioned into pro wrestling, for the most part, moves-wise, all that kind of stuff, it was coming easy. The easy part of, which is everyone says, it's the moves and all that kind of stuff. That kind of part was coming easy. My cardio was always good. So there was that, from going, because I ended up, like I said, playing in William Patterson. I was at the end. It was in college, so I gained a lot of weight. I think I was like 260. And before, once I started wrestling and once I implemented everything else that I've known, I was able to drop back down to like, 210 and 205, which is why I'm able to move so like limber now. So like that, just the dedication of coming to it, like, because even when I stopped playing college ball, because again, it was just one of those moments where I liked it, but it wasn't my passion. And when you're in college, you're waking up at oh, my bad, I'm cursing, at 5 a.m. and then it's morning workouts, then you go to class, then you have to do study hall, then you go to one practice, then you go to more classes, and you do, like, it was just burnt out, especially when you're not doing something that your heart isn't fully in. You get burnt out very quickly. But after that, I knew that I still wanted to be an athlete. I still wanted to do something else. And that's when one of the kids that, I live in the same town as him, Kyle Angus, actually posted something about wrestling. And that's when I finally discovered wrestling schools. Because I never had any clue how anyone would show up on my TV. I didn't know there was wrestling schools. I didn't know anything. I literally would just be like, where do they get these guys? Like, I literally thought these people would just, like, they sign them and then they show up one week. And, like, I don't know. I thought there was, like, a secret place where they just manufacture wrestlers. And that's when I finally discovered, Ace and ECPW and Damian Adams, all these different places. And, from just like my sports mentality of like, in order to be better at something, you got to put in the work, put in the hours, and put in the, it was what transitioned into wrestling. Like, that's what kind of made the transition a little easier. Not to say that it is easy, because this journey is not easy. And, I feel like it gave me a leg up in a lot of the different aspects.
Fair enough. I don't think wrestling is easy. I played football, for a little bit when I was a young teenager, but wrestling is probably one of the hardest things I've ever done, in my entire life. It's different when you have to throw yourself down and pick yourself back up, and you got to think and you got to breathe and you got to do all that stuff. And the crazy thing is you paid your own money to do it. It's not like, you're in school doing it. You paid your own money to do it. But real quick, if you like what I'm doing here, I do live episodes and interviews every single Tuesday and Friday at noon here on YouTube. So be sure to subscribe if you like what I'm doing. Right now, I'm here with the Freshlete, Trey Felipe. He is a pro wrestler, and we're just getting into how he became a pro wrestler and some of the transitions with the skills that he made. Trey, you talked about, seeing a message from Kyle Angus, who we both know pretty well. How he got you or sparked the bug for you to get into pro wrestling.
He got me into wrestling. I mean, he taught me my first bump.
Oh, he bamboozled you.
He had me a trampoline. He had a trampoline in his backyard with a tire under, and he was teaching me how to do. You tell no one this, all right?
We won't tell anybody today. We'll keep it a secret.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I wouldn't consider myself a yarder, but I was definitely doing bumps and stuff in a backyard. So he taught me how to bump and kind of introduced me to Gino and all that kind of stuff. Like I wouldn't have found wrestling. I mean, I feel like I would have found it eventually, but I wouldn't have had a leg up when I first got into ECPW or even known about ECPW if it wasn't for Kyle. Because I mean, even when I did discover schools, there were some of them that were either far or like expensive, and out of a college student, I live on a budget, so. It's a big shout out to Kyle, because I probably wouldn't be here to be honest.
I think that ECPW is a good school for this one reason. There's a lot of connections within that school. There's a lot of people that have wrestled for WWE, that have wrestled for WCW, ECW. Talking about some new promotions, people that have wrestled for TNA and people that have wrestled for AEW have walked those doors.
There was a show last weekend in Westwood, the Bull James and Enzo.
Exactly, that's as WWE as it'll get.
Exactly.
So you talked about training with Damian Adams and Gino Caruso. You also trained with Azriel. What are some of the important lessons that you learned from those three icons in the New Jersey pro wrestling training circuit?
So Gino, Gino told me everything. He kind of broke me into the business. So there's he taught me what it's like to. I kind of like sink or swim, because you kind of get, he trains you obviously, and then it's right away into like a battle royal, and then right away into your matches. So I picked up a lot of the moves and stuff very quickly, but I got to the point where, everything I've done has been a spectator sport or something like that. So like, it was very hard for me not to like I guess transition into like, you know, being in a school and having no crowd around, and then like having to like, hey, you know, work for the crowd, work for this. I'm like, there's no one here. What do you mean? And he was instrumental in like teaching me how to do that, and then like kind of, you know, singing or swimming by throwing me out, you know, in a match. And then now, like after my first match, I'm like, oh, now that's what he means. So everything was like, you know, and then just like, and like, I guess the freedom of letting me do, you know, what I can, like, you know, if I have an idea or if I have something I want to try, he kind of lets me do it. And if it sucks, he'll be straight up and be like, hey, that sucked. Don't do that again. And I need that, you know what I mean? Because I don't need anyone to sugarcoat things for me. So Gino's a very huge part of just, you know, how even I am, and how when I help out at the school and train, you know, newer guys, that's exactly how I train them. You know, between Gino, Pete Nixon, and there's one other person. Prince, yes, okay. There you go. Prince, I
haven't been to the school in 2 months, and I know that was Prince. I mean, 2 years.
Listen, I was about to call him Unc, and then I forgot his actual name. He knows I love him. I forgot his actual name for a second. I just call him Unc. So Pete was there with me, you know, every Tuesday, Thursdays. I mean, there was times where it was just me and Pete, and he taught me so much, especially about being aggressive in the ring and how, like, you know, how to make things make sense and where to be. Prince. But same thing. Prince taught me how, like, you know, like let loose essentially more. Like it's okay to look goofy. It's okay to, but you're here to entertain the crowd and stuff. So I learned a lot from all those guys, and it was like a rotation at HBW. And I think that's another cool thing that we have at HBW is that people can come in and like, listen, they can. I'm not gonna say everyone can come in and give their advice or give, you know, are willing to help. And if not, I mean, you can either take it or leave it, you know, because there's a lot of people that'll tell you something and you're like, yeah, all right, pal, you wish. Yeah. Or you can, it's good advice that you're going to take and now you're going to use into your next match. Now with Damien taught me a lot of psychology. That was a thing that we didn't really focus on as much at ECW.
True.
And it's something I kind of focus on now when I help out the new guys. Psychology is just making everything make sense. You know, work a body part. You know, the structure is a shine, cut off, come back, go home, you know, and then, you know, it just how to make everything make sense, how a time, you know, you can do all that stuff in like a 3-minute match or an 8-minute match or a 10-minute match or 15, 20. And then there's how to make all that make sense and how to move from the, you know, different parts, how to get the, you know, the crowd to kind of follow along and give them a story, even when there's no story. Because technically, it's not like, all right, so you have a guy that turned on another guy, and then that's their story. No, every match has a story. What's the story? He can be working his arm, working his neck, working his back, and then, you know, power, speed, power versus speed, brains versus brawn. You know, like there's a whole, like all these little minuscule stories that people kind of forget, and he was very instrumental in teaching us that. So the combination of both makes my matches make sense, but then also lets me be charismatic and lets me be, you know, the Freshlete all around. So, I mean, like, I got to give credit to both of them. And I think, and I do like the fact that I started at HBW and then kind of built off that into Damien's. And it, you know, because it's a good mesh now. So, I mean, and every day I'm still learning, but those two have definitely, I mean, and Damien also helped me create the character that you see today, which is the Freshly Trey Felipe. Because I don't know if you know this, but the first time we wrestled, I was under a different name.
Tony Rush.
He's dead now. But
oh yeah, R.I.P. Tony Rush.
So listen, gone too soon. But the vid got him. No. But now like the character is like it was because Gino also has a very old school mentality. So it's more like I felt like he was trying to give me maybe like a hokey kind of gimmick, and it wasn't like hokey. It sounded very like Hulk Hoganish, like, you know, like baby faces only do this, that, whatever it is. And I felt like once transitioning into like Trey Felipe, like, you know, that Damien helped me, it kind of was just me, you know, turned up to 10, like The Rock or Stone Cold always say. So, you know, both instrumental, but, you know, one kind of helped me just discover more myself, and more, now it comes off more naturally.
So you call yourself the Freshlete, and so like, what is that?
No, everyone calls me the Freshlete. Don't do that to me.
Okay, what does that mean? What does that word mean to you?
The freshest athlete in the game. What it means to me is that I take pride in everything that I do, whether it's the ring, whether it's my clothes, whether it's a haircut every week. I'm always fresh, And then what you're going to see in the ring, how that transitions into the ring, is that you never know what you're going to get, because I'm the fresh breath of air that you need on your roster or you need on your show. Like, I'm going to make sure that you see every little bit of whether it's aerial, wrestling, amateur wrestling, strength, strikes, everything. Like it's gonna be somehow different from every other match on your card. That is a promise. That is why I call myself the Freshlete. It transitions from real life into my wrestling ways.
So I've wrestled you obviously before, and I've watched your matches either in person, while I'm in the ring with you, or behind the curtain, or sometimes I just watch your guys' matches on YouTube just to see what you up to. When you're in the match, you're an aerial guy, you're a technical guy, and you punch and kick real well. Which do you enjoy most, and why?
So at first, I thought I enjoyed more the aerial stuff, and it's not that I don't enjoy it. I enjoy the reactions to it after, but a lot of it hurts. So I don't really like doing it as much. Like when the energy is there and the crowd is there, I love doing it. It's like there's no bigger rush than soaring and feeling and then like getting a good reaction right after it. But if I had to say, I think just the technical picking people up kind of thing, that I enjoy better. I enjoy more. It helps things become a little smoother. There's a lot less room for error. And I take I take pride in my matches and like how I perform, and if I mess something up, aerial wise, which is there's room for error, I will think about that for the next 6 months. So it stresses me out. I think that's what it is. I think it stresses me out the most. So I'd rather stay away from it as much. I mean, I still do it obviously, but it's just that pressure of it. I think that pressure, because we're already under a lot of pressure, as you know. Right. We're out there, we're wrestling in front of people. Someone like you is looking behind the curtain, or someone maybe even bigger is looking behind the curtain, or one of my trainers, and you don't like that. That's already a lot of pressure. Now that you have to make sure you're sure-footed and stuff, it's just stressful. I mean, I'm grateful and thankful that I haven't really messed up like that in any way. But that pressure stresses me out, and then I'll think about it for the next 6 months. So the more ground and pound technical striking, that's more my comfort zone. But I also like being out of my comfort zone. So it's a vicious cycle out here.
Well, you're talking about being out of your comfort zone. Let's go back to your comfort zone. You were East Coast Pro Wrestling's ECPW for Gino Caruso. You were the Rookie of the Year. You were Match of the Year. You were Wrestler of the Year, and you had various championships. What matches and feuds stand out to you the most? I know what stood out to me the most, and I want to see if that's what I'm thinking. But don't worry about what I'm thinking. You tell me what your answer is.
So, I mean, matches that stood out, like just one-on-one regular matches. I mean, I had a match with Ricky Reyes. Learned a lot from him. Had a match with, Azrael, as I'm sure we'll get into it. I learned a lot from him. Crowbar, learned a lot from him. Those are matches that are just matches one-off, no story or anything like that. It's just, that's helping me out, helping a rookie. But feud-wise, I will have to say that it has to be, obviously, the scum of the earth, John Tella, and then Kenny Bangle back when he was in Shazam and stuff. I mean, me and Kenny have great chemistry all the time, but back when he was Shazam and he was more of a prick, those matches stood out a lot. Marcos, obviously. You know what? Marcos has a special area in my heart, only for the fact that I trained him since day one, or helped train him since day one. So us having that feud and that match, and that it being feud of the year, I think last year or the year before, that meant a lot. Because I carried him. So, but yeah, and then I mean, of course, I mean, like we said before, I mean, our matches, you being one of the first matches that I didn't know, I didn't train with you yet or anything like that, and it's going out there and trusting each other on what we're calling in the back, and I'm a new guy, you didn't have to listen to me. I didn't know you. I could have been an arrogant prick and been like, I don't know why this guy thinks he's gonna pick me up. Anything like that. Anything could have happened. I mean, I'm not saying that we are those people, but it happens with a lot of people out there. So that obviously meant a lot too. And then to be able to run it back years later, when we're both at a whole different level, you were back for a couple more years now. I'm a television champion. Those things kind of stand out to me. And everything stands out to me during my matches and during my time as a wrestler is sentimental, and it has some kind of backstory onto it. every little thing, little detail, it means a lot.
Well, hold on to that belt, ECPW heavyweight champion, because you never know. I think my boots are around here somewhere. But either way, so you are the current Pro Wrestling Magic junior heavyweight champion. And, how has your experience in Pro Wrestling Magic helped you shape yourself as a performer?
All right, so Magic is another story. It was, I think, my first humbling experience because during that Tony Rush era, God bless, Magic was one of the first companies outside of ECPW that I wrestled for. And I think it was one time they kind of brought me in, and I was supposed to get involved with. I happened to be there. Someone didn't show up, and that's how I got in. I thought I did pretty well. They brought me in the next month. They wanted me to wrestle. I think it was Marcos or something, and I think it was one of the first times where a referee told me to go home because the match wasn't going as well, and I had all the confidence in the world that I could bring it back to where we were supposed to. And I think that obviously wasn't the right decision because, it's not my company. I don't know who I thought I was. And then I got involved later on in the John Tella Bruno feud, helping Bruno win later on. And then I didn't get booked there for like 3 months. So that right there, as it being my first company that I worked outside of ECPW, I'm like, damn, I must suck. And then they finally bring me back for a scramble for like the Dark Arts Championship or something like that. And I thought I did pretty well there too, and then that's it. Didn't hear from them for years and years, and so that always left a sour taste in my mouth because I just felt like I kind of screwed up an opportunity out there, and it kind of always stayed. They took a chance on a kid that they didn't know, and then I kind of screwed the pooch on that one just by being overconfident and not following directions to be honest, and then or just not performing at the level that I thought I was performing at, that I had a lot to learn. I was just that at that point starting with Damien, so maybe there was something else that I was missing, or maybe I just got arrogant. Who knows? So being champion for them now, years later, and not even just, I'm junior heavyweight champion now, but I was, tag team champion for a while. I was a trios champion for a while. So, and then being a part of the Hispanos Unidos group, which has been dominating the group, the kingdom, as the kids call it, for like 3-4 years. It's just it's an awesome feeling to have it all turn back around to now I'm a valuable player there. To be able to get another chance, and now I'm a valuable player at Magic. So it means a lot. Both championships that I have mean a lot. One is obviously my home promotion, my home turf. So ECW heavyweight champion. It means a lot to me to have that honor. But then to be a champion on my own at Magic, when before I couldn't even get booked there, it's just a full circle moment, and it means a lot. So,
look, man, pro wrestling is it's such a weird thing that if you're not in it, you really don't understand. But if you like what we're doing, I do live interviews, and I do pro wrestling breakdowns every Tuesday and Friday at noon right here on YouTube. So if you're not doing anything, be sure to join me. We are here with the Freshlete, Trey Felipe. He's wrestling for ISPW tomorrow in Northfield, New Jersey, and we're here with him now. The question I got for you is, talk to me about your upcoming match tomorrow at ISPW, and what can fans expect from this match? How are you preparing to face a veteran like Kashmir?
Well, I've been dying to wrestle for ISPW for a while. I've heard phenomenal things, and I've been, obviously reaching out. So, and eventually, I think either my stock rose or they finally opened my email or something. So now this is gonna be my debut, actually, and it's incredible that it's gonna be against a legend, like you said, Johnny Kashmir, who I've known for a while now. We've trained here and there. When he came up to the school with the Graysons, the back seats, and then we actually had a 3-on-3 match a couple months ago, and there was some chemistry there, and he said he'd love to do it again. So that's always good to hear. So now it's a 1-on-1. So it means a lot, and going against someone who's been around, I'm sure I'm going to learn so much. But at the end of the day, I'm there at ISPW to make a name for myself and to show them that why I'm the freshest athlete in the game and why I'm coming for the top ball spots. So Johnny Cashmere, whether he's a legend or not a legend, or he's been around, hasn't been around, it doesn't matter, because I have to take out whoever is in front of me. So, all due respect, I'm looking forward to it, but I don't know how much he should be looking forward to it, because I'm not there to just be the new guy and smile and thanks for the handshake. Nope. I'm here to make a name for myself, and that's what I'm going to keep doing at every single show that I'm at. And ISPW, debut, be there or be square.
So you talked about a lot of things that you've done in your career, as far as, getting into pro wrestling magic and finally getting an opportunity with ISPW, having some great feuds and getting into the ring with some legends. What are your what do you see yourself in 5 years in the pro wrestling business?
Man, I don't even know what I'm doing tomorrow. I mean, other than wrestling Johnny Cashmere, I can't look at it like that. I think one of my biggest mistakes when I first started was thinking so far ahead, because then I was missing out on all the little things and all the little accomplishments that I was making right now. Because at the end of the day, success is a journey, not a place, and I had to figure out how to treat it like that. So I just take every opportunity as I can. I soak it all up, because honestly, and knock on wood, I'm in a car, so I can't knock on wood. But who knows where anyone's going to be in 5 years? We could not be here at all. Pro wrestling could just shut down. Who knows? So I have to just take every opportunity, enjoy everything I'm doing now. I mean, I have a debut tomorrow. Let's focus. I want to focus on that. I want to go and show ISPW why I'm a valuable player, why I should be on every show that they have. Next week, I'm facing one of my boys, or used to be my brother, Steve Pena, at Magic, and that's the first time ever for a one-on-one with this. So everything is going to come. Everything is coming. I'm going to enjoy every single aspect of it, and if there's anything I'll plan on doing at the end of this, it's just I want to leave a mark. Everyone has to be gone, but who wants to be forgotten? And I want to be able to give to the next generation. So I mean, I'm only 28, but every year new wrestlers are coming up. So it's really what mark do you want to leave on this business, on the business that I love? I just want to be able to say that I did something for it, did something for the future, did something for the up and coming, and be able to tell my kids, like, yo, your daddy was a dope ass wrestler.
Well, just in case you forgot, check out ISPW Wrestling tomorrow, October 19th at 6 p.m. at the Northfield Community School at 200 New Road in Northfield, New Jersey. You got GKM versus Ray Kalitri. You got Wrecking Ball Legursky versus Yosifera L. And you got our guy right here, Trey Felipe versus Johnny Cashmere, and so much more matches. Get your tickets at ispwwrestling.com. Trey, please tell everybody where they can find you on social media and where they can check out more information on you.
Well, social media, Instagram is tfelipe21. X or Twitter, as it used to be. I'm still in the Twitter phase. Trey Felipe 21. Facebook, it's Trey Felipe or Anthony Felipe if it's a shoot name, but only do that if you know me. And then Pro Wrestling Tees. I got t-shirts up there. If you want sweaters, hoodies, I even got onesies for your babies. Hit me up. I got merch for you.
Well, my baby's outgrown onesies just a little bit, but you know what? I'll take a look into that for somebody else's baby. But, brother, I appreciate the time that you've given me today. I appreciate you hanging out with me today, and I look forward to seeing you soon and seeing your progress in the pro wrestling business. Thank you so much for joining me. Everybody, if you like what we're doing here today, be sure to follow Trey Felipe on social media. I am Tristan Law. Subscribe. I want you to share, and I want you to send this to somebody that you love, and even send it to somebody that you hate. Thanks so much for joining us today. That was Trey Felipe, and this was the Tristan Law Show. Thank you so much for joining, and we'll see you next time.